Amanda here from DMG, and today we're going to be looking at the Tomb Raider guides. These are the Trilogy produced by Prima Games. Now we're going to take one at a time in the video, so I'm going to do one video on each guide. And although I said they are Prima guides, technically this first one is by Brady Games. However, Brady and Prima are both owned by Penguin Books, and back in 2015 Brady and Prima both merged together and became Prima Games. So this is, although this one is technically published under Brady, it still is really now a Prima guide, so you may find it listed as either if you look for it. These are all old books now, but I did notice when looking for this myself that it was listed as either, so just to clear up that confusion. So let's get on and look at these books one by one. Okay, so here we have the second one in the trilogy. This is The Rise of the Tomb Raider. Again, very similar in style, because despite the fact that, as I said, that first one was by Brady Games, it's still Prima, so the style of the books are really similar, so they work together perfectly as a trilogy. So this one, again, nice hardback book, really nice coated pages again, so lovely quality. So then we go to table of contents. So we've got Lara's Search Continues, Guide to Survival, Combat and First Aid, Gear and Tools, Understanding Your Allies and Enemies, Rise of the Tomb Raider even. So that's basically your walkthrough. So there's all those little subsections. Then we've got collectibles, surviving expeditions, and then achievements. So that's what the contents of the book are. As always, what I will do is stick to the beginning of each section so that hopefully you don't get too many spoilers, or at least if you do get the spoilers, they're so far at the beginning of the game that it really isn't too much of a big deal. So we start off with a little paragraph about the book, about a little bit about the story, a kind of an introduction. It's not giving any spoilers at this point, but it's warning you that, you know, if you read the book you'll get spoilers. Then we've got a lovely page of art, and then we go, whoops, one too many. Then we go to the guide, which again is just setting out our controller, which looks like an Xbox version here. I don't think it looks like there's a one for PS4, but I mean, you know, it's certainly simple to work out, I'm sure. And then we've got a little bit of explanation about the map, and how to bring it up, the movement, the camera control. So basically how to do the controls, aiming, crafting arrows, dodging, etc. So it's just each bit explaining how it works. Now it's referencing X, Y, A and B. So if you're on a PS4 or PS5, you will need to substitute those letters, numbers with your characters, but you know the layout on your controller, so you'll know what button that should represent instead. Okay, and then so really just all the basics on the menus, etc. So then we go over and we've got combat and first aid basics. So we've got game difficulty, movement. Again, it's just explaining, for example, Lara's healing is heavily restricted in higher difficulty modes. So it's just explaining the game difficulties and what the differences are. That was just an example. Then we've got walking and running, how to get her to go faster, etc. How to get her to jump, climb, swim, using your map, interactions with different things. So it's just explaining all of those things. And then progression and collections, so following objectives, side content, collecting items, challenges and missions. So they're all different elements, because there's more than just the main story, as there often is with these things. So it's just explaining about that. Then we go on to skills, and here, for example, we've got again a reasonably basic skill tree compared to some games, but it's just explaining, for example, there's the icon, what it means, what that gives you, and some extra notes there on that. So that's just under one specific skill tree and the different tiers of that particular skill tree, and then another one, etc. So that's doing all of the same thing. So it's just the same but on the different skills. So now we go to gear and tools. So we've got weapons and outfits. So for example, here we have the bow. So we know, as always, that she has the bow. First of all, what a lovely picture. I love that. And so what it says is, here, for example, we've got just a basic paragraph about the bow and just explaining about it. Then looking at, say, this first one, it tells you the stats, different upgrades, and then how you make it, etc. So then it goes on and does several versions that you can get, and then handguns, etc. So all the same things: stats, image, little paragraph, and the different tiers, so, and the upgrades, etc. So we've got all of that. Then we come to, make sure that's all the weapons. So then we come to the different outfits. So for example, here, Huntress, we've got the first one there, and it just explains how it's made, how you get it, and then it's got a little picture of what it looks like. So just all the different ones there to see, and it's all the same thing again. And then we've got equipment and upgrades. So we've got here a knife, a flask, grenade launcher, suppressor, etc. So again, it just has a picture, a little bit of information about how you can use it and where you can get it from, and etc. Then we've got the different ammunition, same idea, it just tells you what it is, a little bit of description of how you get this thing and where it comes into play, and just a little picture again as well. So again, I don't want too much. Oops, I jumped. Then we've got improved weaponry, so again, won't show you that too much. And then crafting ingredients, so we've got, for example, cloth, and it just explains a little picture, and then what the cloth is used for and where you can find it. So quite helpful all the way through different things. Then we've got our allies and our enemies. So again, this is the major characters, animals and opponents that fill the world. You'll learn about their backstories, discover ways to defeat the enemies, and pick up a few hunting tips. In terms of spoilers, we only discuss things that will happen in the game when it properly begins, or things that are revealed very early. So that's quite handy to know. So obviously, major character, clearly she's going to be in it, so let's have a look at how they deal with that, just so you can get an idea of how it works. So obviously Lara Croft, her age, her occupation, a paragraph about her and her history, and then just some images really, and obviously that beautiful artwork at the side. So then we go to the next page, and you have exactly the same thing for the next character, a little paragraph, some images, and that beautiful big full page there again of that artwork. Really, really nice, very effective. And then I don't want to go through too many for you. And then, so that's all, I think, all the allies. And then we get to a section on wildlife. So it just has a general paragraph, and then, for example, here we've got rabbits, and it says what they're for and where you can find them. Same for like birds and rats, etc. So it's just going into a little bit of detail as to what you would want your wildlife for. Then we go into enemies, and again for this one we have a little paragraph at the top just talking about enemies in general. And then if we take the first one here, which again is pretty simple, basic enemy, it tells you what weapon they've got, tactics, health, damage output, paragraph about them, and how you can defeat them, and then a little image. So that's all the same for those. Then we go to the main part of the book, which is obviously our Let's Play. We've got just a little paragraph about that, explaining how she sort of ended up at the beginning of the game. And then we go to the first section. And I just want to make sure, yeah, they're pretty much the same all the way through. Yeah. So I'm going to use this as an example because this is really the very first section, so you're going to come across this straight away. So what we have here is the little map, which is showing you, it says start a game and then where you're going next. I'm not going to mention the particular names. It says the main objective, any enemies, any challenges. In this particular one, there's none of either. And it's just then walks you through specifics. So you've got the paragraphs, information written about it. You've got some pictures just to sort of illustrate things, and just lots of information and imagery, and it telling you exactly how to achieve what you need to achieve. So that's that, and it literally then goes on all the way to here, which is collecting treasures. So it's a reasonable section again, so nice lot of information to help walk you through the game. And then it's so difficult with the lighting because it's so shiny. So then we've got collecting treasures. Again, we've got the usual general paragraph, and then we've got a little sort of section that's telling you what's covered, so all the different things. And then basically you're going to have a map here, which is not much good to give a demonstration because there's nothing happening. So let's go to a different map. So here's a map, and you can see it's marked on that map the different icons as per our thing here, and that will tell us exactly what's where. And then there's a number as well to help you, so it's not just the map, it actually will give you a step-by-step as well. So the treasures section is also quite a big section. Look, you've got all of that, so it really goes into detail because there is quite a lot. Cover that bit up. There is quite a lot of information on that. So now we've got tips for specific expeditions. So again, I don't want to go too much into detail of this, but it gives you what that expedition is and tells you where it is. It's got information, etc. It tells you what any traps are, what's tricky, what you need to watch out for, etc. So again, I don't want to even really show you that first one because that's a little bit, it's not far into the game, but it's a little bit into the game. So as you can see, it's got all of that there for you. Then we've got the achievements section. So obviously it's the usual sort of thing, you know, if you if you kill a razorback boar, you get an achievement called bacon, for example. So it just tells you how to do it, where, you know, what that achievement is and what you're looking for, which is kind of helpful. And it's got all of those here. So quite a lot. And then we've just got to the end where it's just a load of advertising and then information about the publisher and the end of this book. So that is the second one in the trilogy. I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at that with me, and I hope you'll join me for the others. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.